Losing your head can be a little frustrating. In previous videos we've already seen Kratos rip a god's skull from his body, and Leon's visit to Dr. Salazar in Resident Evil 4 didn't go as planned. The VAT system in Fallout 3 let us target specific limbs. Now we crave the ability to decapitate our opponents at every opportunity. With that in mind, here are 6 video game decapitations, definitely not for the squeamish. Back in 2004, a little known classic game was released on the PS2 and PC. It was The Punisher. You play as Frank Castle and murder your way through Stark Industries and a host of other locations. The game offered a mechanic like no other. When Frank needs information, he can interrogate his victims using the environment around him. When he breaks his target's will and they give him the information he needs, he can let them go, or he can kill them all. Our favourite has to be the cog takedown, which removes the enemy's head from their lifeless body. Keeping with the comic book heroes, our next entry is the terrible game that was X-Men Origins Wolverine. It had the occasional shining light throughout, including this very unique way of taking down a helicopter pilot. He even finishes off with a superhero landing. Well played, Logan, well played. If one thing the Game of Thrones TV series has taught us is that decapitation is a regular occurrence in Westeros. The video game tie-in from Telltale continued this trend, and please switch off now if you haven't played Game of Thrones, as this is definitely a spoiler. They must have gone by now, yeah? In the final act of the game, your beautiful handmaiden Mira must decide if her life or her morals are more important to her. If she chooses her principles, she is met by this demise. Worse still, if she decides she wants to live, she must frame a young coal boy who has been helping her through the entire game. Help me! Keeping your head in Game of Thrones is a difficult affair. At this point we planned to introduce a Mortal Kombat execution, but there were so many we couldn't decide on one, so therefore we're going to make a video just dedicated to Mortal Kombat and Sub-Zero and his friends, so please stay tuned for that one. Instead, I've decided to bring back Until Dawn and Chris's subtle decapitation when calmly looking around his campsite. After he's dropped back to Earth, his face still twitches. Stuff of nightmares. For our penultimate head removal, we are switching to the Resident Evil franchise and the great feeling of removing a zombie's head. Whether it's kicking the head off the rotten shoulders of a crawling zombie, or waiting in earnest to shotgun the head off an over-friendly zombie that requires a hug. 20 years later, and it's still as satisfying as it was in 1996. We've reached the top of the list, and it's from For Honor. Choosing between Vikings, Knights, or our favourite, the Samurai, your job is to defeat, maim and murder the opposition. If done correctly, you can utilise a decapitation manoeuvre to strike fear into your opponents. There are some mind-blowing finishes on offer, but you know me, Samurai for the win. So that was our list of 6 video game decapitations, definitely not for the squeamish. Do you agree with the list? What have we missed? Let us know below, please. Oh, and one other thing, please subscribe to our tiny channel and help us grow. We really want to reach more people and we need your help. I'm Adam from PlayStation Grenade. I'll see you next time.